The United States is the world's sole superpower. It's been that way since the end of the Cold War in 1991. Now, the US has declared war. The last time it declared war, in fact, was the Second World War, which ended in 1945. And since then, the US has been involved in several conflicts across the globe. Some would say more than 100 wars have been fought by the United States, interventions, civil wars, all of those, since 1945. The US hasn't declared war, though. But that's a technicality. The United States is the most powerful country in the world today. There's no doubt about that. It spends close to $1 trillion in acquiring defense equipment every year. That's more than the rest of the world put together. That's how much the US spends on defense. Now, after the Cold War, post-1991, the US came up with a strategy to be able to fight two wars, two global wars simultaneously. And this manifested itself in 2001 when it went into Afghanistan post the 9/11 attacks, and then in 2003 when it simultaneously entered Iraq to fight Saddam Hussein. Now, it got two quick victories there. The Taliban fled, Saddam Hussein was crushed, but then the US was embroiled in Afghanistan and Iraq for nearly 2 decades. 2001 to 2021 in Afghanistan, when they finally retreated, leaving without any tangible benefits. In Iraq as well, they performed slightly better there. 2003, Saddam Hussein was ousted, and 2011, Barack Obama declared the end of major combat operations there. But the US spent something like $5 trillion in both Iraq and Afghanistan. These were called forever wars, simply because there was no end in sight. There was no victory, no clear victory of the kind that the US had seen in the Second World War. So the US is still on that strategy of being able to fight and win two wars at the same time, but times have changed in 2025, and I'll explain how. Warfare itself has changed in the last 5 years. When the Russia-Ukraine war began, it began as a conventional war. You saw a very conventional Russian military machine trying to overwhelm the Ukrainians, but then this war has been on for more than 3 years now. Warfare has changed, a war of attrition has set in, and you're seeing the kind of technologies that are coming in which are completely changing the way wars are fought. Drone warfare, for instance, has made massing of troops and tanks and armor of the kind you could do in the past almost impossible. Some who argue that what the United States did with Gulf Storm 1, that's in 1991, with the cruise missiles that they could fire through windows, is something that the Ukrainians and the Russians are doing on a daily basis today in the Russia-Ukraine war. So warfare itself has changed.